Welcome. Today's subject is the similarities between the Son of God and the Son. The similarities between the S-U-N, the Son, and the S-O-N, Son of God. Similarities between the Sun, our star, and between the Son of God, Christ. Before we get started on the comparisons, let us take a look at some of the qualities of the star, the sun. Human beings find stars fascinating. We find them to be very important from our scientific study. So we have used stars as symbols for many hundreds and thousands of years. One of the stars I like to talk about is the five-pointed star. We humans use it to symbolize honor, achievement, hope, divinity, intuition, guidance, the masculine, and sometimes the feminine. Now this symbol, the symbol of the star, of the sun, is used throughout the world. It's a very ancient symbol. We see it in America as the pentagram. We see it in our military installation as the Pentagon. We find star symbolism used in many flags of many nations. We use it as a symbol of fame and stardom. Our actors are called stars. Our athletes, stars. Politicians, stars. Musicians, celebrities, we call them stars. Star symbolism is used by several religious organizations. In Christianity, it's found in many images of Jesus Christ. Sometimes that image of the star, or the sun, will be solar rays behind the Christ. Sometimes it'll be a picture of the sun, of that star, in the picture with Christ. We see that the Masons use the star symbolism extensively on their temples, on their garb, on their regalia, on their monuments, on their paraphernalia, etc. In Islam, we see the star used as the star with the crescent, the star and crescent. We see star symbolism used in Judaism, specifically as the six-pointed star, the Star of David or the Star of David. In Hinduism, we see it as the Star of Lakshmi. Native Americans use this star symbolism in many ways. We also see star symbolism used in military organizations in several ways, and this is worldwide. We see the star in sports, including football, soccer, baseball, etc. All throughout sports, we see the star symbolism. The five-pointed star is used to symbolize the human body, the human being. The head being the top point, the two hands being the top sides, and the 2 feet being the bottom 2 points of the five-pointed star. We see star symbolism used extensively by Greek fraternities and sororities. We humans, in our businesses and in our corporations, use the star to rank a product or service, such as a 5-star hotel. In geometry, all throughout math, we see the pentagram, 5-pointed star, hexagram, 6-pointed star, heptagram, 7-pointed star, and octagram, an 8-pointed star. In typography, on your keyboards, on your typewriters, we use the star as an asterisk. In many of our medals and awards, we're using the star as a symbol of achievement and a symbol of high achievement, maybe even the top achievement. Now, the most important star for Earth, of course, is our sun. And we have found that star to be so important that we have even named a day after it. And that day is Sunday. Sunday. And by the way, that's the day on which most Christians worship. One interesting fact about the stars that we must keep in mind is that all elements of all creation are made of stardust, are made from stars, by stars. Let me repeat that. All elements of all creation are made of stardust, are made of star substance, are made in the stars, by the stars. Every element, all the atoms, all the substances, all your celestial bodies, your stars, your planets, your asteroids, your comets, all creation on earth, the trees, the grass, the moon, the humans, the animals, the water, all of the basic elements made in stars by stars. Okay, now that we've got a little foundation to work with, let us compare some of the similarities between the Son, S-U-N, and the Son, S-O-N, of God. Here we can see that the Son of God refers to the S-O-N, the male offspring, the male descendant. Its etymology, the word begins as Sunu and develops through Sunu. Etymology is simply the origin of a word, the development of a word throughout time. Here we have the word sun, S-U-N, also called a star, and also called sol or sol. S-O-L is Latin for solar. The etymology of this word is sune, or S-U-N-N-E, referred to as masculine child of the nebula. Nebula is a place where stars are born. Now, one of the qualities of the sun, the S-U-N, is that it is a source of light, heat, and energy. The sun creates the foundation of our food chain. We call that photosynthesis. The sun provides electrical energy, it provides radio energy, X-ray energy, UVB, and other forms and waves of energy. The sun also regulates our biological and all environmental cycles. This is called circadian rhythms. But the sun is powerful. Just look at what our sun, S-U-N, does for our solar system. Now, when we compare that information to Christ, or to the S-O-N of God, we see that Christ is known as the light of the world. So when we look at the sun, S-U-N, being the source of light, and then we see the S-O-N of God, the Son of God, the Christ, being referred to as the light of the world, we can see a very important similarity. Now, getting back to the S-U-N, our sun, our star, we know that it has a profound positive impact on mental, emotional, and physical health. It provides nutrition for the basis of health for virtually all life on earth. That's right, the sun, S-U-N, provides nutrition, which is our basis for health for virtually all life on earth. The sun also creates and provides oxygen, which is our breath of life. And it does that through the process of photosynthesis, which is the sun interacting with the plant life, and through that interaction, oxygen is created. Also, the S-U-N, our star, encourages positive feel-good attitude by the way of sunshine and warmth. We know that when we go through wintertime, boy, we're looking for springtime when the sun is coming back, it's stronger, it's higher in the sky, it's giving us more energy, it's shining brighter, and man, we're feeling good. We're feeling like we're resurrected. Now, comparing that information about the sun to one of the referrals to the Christ, to the S-O-N of God, we see that Christ fed the multitudes of the people. So the S-O-N is also providing nutrition, although it may be not only physical, but it may even be spiritual. So we see the important similarity between the sun, S-U-N, and the sun, S-O-N, in that regard. Now, the next point, the next comparison. The sun, the S-U-N, our star. The so-called birthday of our star is the winter solstice between December 21st and 25th each year. It's an annual birth or annual rebirth, also called resurrection. The end of one cycle, or 1 year, and the beginning of another is considered the death of the star and the birth of the star. Okay? And that's part of our solar earth cycle that we've been talking about. This is a process of resurrection to end and then to begin, or to die and then be reborn, is an act of resurrection. It's a process of resurrection. That process for the sun, the S-U-N, begins December 25th, and that process of resurrection, coming back to full life, is completed by March 21st, which is the spring equinox. Now, also, the sun, the S-U-N, is performing a daily process of resurrection by rising and setting. When it rises in the morning, it's the beginning of a new cycle of the sun, a daily cycle. And then when it sets in the evening, that's the end of that daily cycle. And so we have a process of resurrection going on daily with the S-U-N, our star. Now, as we compare that to the S-O-N of God, we can see that the birth of Christ, the Son of God, is celebrated on December 25th each year. Now, with the Orthodox Church of Christianity, it's celebrated on January 6th. However, we can see that the birthday of the S-U-N and the birthday of the S-O-N are one and the same. Now, Although no historian or theologian, no one knows the day or year or birth of Jesus, somehow it was decided that December 25th or January 6th would be the day to celebrate the birth of the Son of God, the Christ. Now, no one knows the day or the year or birth of Jesus. No one knows exactly when that is. But there's been some things that have happened down through the years where the Catholic Church is supposedly the one to assign the Son of God with that day of December 25th. That can be debated. Now, when we compare the resurrection quality of the Son and the Son of God, we can see that Easter is a celebration of resurrection for the Son of God, for Christ. And Easter is celebrated the first Sunday, back to the day of sun again, the Sunday. Easter is celebrated the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the first day of spring, which is the spring equinox. So now we see where the spring equinox comes into play. And the spring equinox has everything to do with the S-U-N, with the star. And we know that at Easter time too, there's some symbolism being used, such as the egg. And the egg is being used as a symbol of rebirth, a symbol of resurrection. We know that the rabbit is used in Easter symbolism. It represents the moon. So in Christianity, we can see where the solar or star activity is incorporated into the religion. Our next point of comparison discusses the light of the sun. The sun brings the earth out of the dark and into the light. This is what stars do. The stars light up the universe. We know that in some of the scripture it talks about how Supreme Being decides to bring light out of the darkness. So the sun brings the earth out of the dark and into the light. That's what our star does. As we compare it to the S-O-N, the Son of God, we know that Christ is referred to as the guiding light or a source of enlightenment. So we can see a very important similarity here concerning light. Our next comparison point talks about the awesome power, the awesome heat, the awesome flames that the S-U-N, the star, produces. We know that this fire and all fire purifies, cleanses, and transforms. Now, by transformed with a physical fire, we're talking about through that transformation process, our star produces all the fundamental elements of all matter, hydrogen, helium, etc., all throughout the universe. So very important, our star cleanses, purifies, and transforms. We can compare the cleansing process of the sun, the S-U-N, to the cleansing process of the S-O-N of God. It is said that the living Christ is the way to clean up our life. It's a way to become pure. It's a way to achieve salvation. Salvation we know comes through transformation. We transform from our negative selves to our positive selves. And we also know that the Christ has the power to heal. This is very similar to the powers of the sun. We know that the sun has many healing powers. So the sun, the star, and the S-O-N of God, the Christ, very, very similar point as far as purification, as far as transformation. Our next comparison point, our sun, S-U-N, our star, is the ruler or king of our solar system. The sun, the star, is the center of the solar system. It controls the orbits of the planets. It produces energy for the planets. And it moves the entire solar system around the galaxy. So there can be no doubt that our star, our sun, is ruling from a physical perspective, of course, and really emotional and mental. When you really take a good look at it, this star is ruling this solar system. And as we compare that point to the S-O-N of God, the Son of God, the Christ, we know that according to the Bible, Christ was the King of Israel, the ruler of Israel. So, and we also know Christ as being the ruler of creation, the King of creation. As we continue, our next point is the sun, our star, is a celestial body existing in the heavens. Our star is sitting in the heavens just as beautiful as it can be, just as powerful as it can be. And it is a celestial body moving around the heavens. And as we now compare that to the S-O-N of God, the Son of God, the Christ, Christ is said to exist in heaven. Continuing our discussion, the next point is the S-U-N is omnipresent in the solar system. Our star, our sun, is everywhere in the solar system. The sun puts out neutrinos, which are subatomic particles that it produces and distributes throughout the solar system by solar wind. And these neutrinos pass through all matter. It passes through planets and people and elements, etc. Therefore, the sun and what the sun produces exists everywhere in this solar system. That's what we call omnipresence. Comparing that to the Son of God, the Son of God is considered by some to be God, to be the supreme being, to be the ruler or king over all things. And we know that one of the attributes of supreme being is omnipresence, being everywhere at once. Everywhere in the entire universe at once, not just the solar system, but being throughout all of creation, everywhere in all the universes, everywhere, the omnipresence of Supreme Being is supposed to be present. And that is assigned also to Christ. Now let us take a look at the meanings of the word sunny. Sunny is considered to be bright, cloudless, shining, clear, brilliant, fair, amiable, happy, smiling, cheerful, joyful, optimistic, jovial, merry, and jolly. So our star is associated with all of these adjectives of being joyful. Our star makes us optimistic. Our star makes us cheerful. It makes us smile. Very important qualities of the sun. And as we compare the meanings of the word sunny to some of the words we find in the Christmas celebration, we can see the important tie, the important unification, the important similarity. In the Christmas celebration, we know there's a Christmas carol, Joy to the World. We know there's also the saying of Merry Christmas. We also know there's the saying of 'Tis the season to be jolly. So this is an undeniable connection between the S-U-N, the star, and the S-O-N, the Son of God, the Christ. Now today we've taken a good look at some of the similarities between the Christ and between the S-U-N, the Son of God, and the S-U-N, the Sun, our star. These comparisons are very important, and these comparisons exist for certain reasons. Now, research is required to prove to us and to demonstrate to us why there are these similarities between the S-U-N and the S-O-N of God. This is what we should be researching. We should be researching why these things exist, so we can have a better understanding of our religion, so we can have a better understanding of Supreme Being, we can have a better understanding of how we fit into life, fit into creation, our purpose, how we should serve creation, how we can better understand all these stories we're reading in our scriptures. We need to understand that there are some very, very profound reasons why the S-U-N and the S-O-N are very, very similar. Thanks for joining us.